And welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. 2:01 p.m. My name is Ty Mentor, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. We have Vice Chair Commissioner Gary Edwards, Commissioner Carolina Mejia, County Manager Miriam Chavez, and a whole host of important folks on our Zoom today, which we will hopefully be hearing from many of them. I'm calling this meeting to order, and we are going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Mejia.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We would also like to start today with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the indigenous people who have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. And with that, is there a motion regarding the agenda for today?
Yes, I would move to approve the agenda for Tuesday, March 9th, 2021.
Second.
Commissioner, I barely hear you.
How about I'll try that again, see if you can get it on. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would move to approve the agenda for today, March 9th, 2021.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Agenda is approved for today. Is there a motion regarding board meeting minutes from March 2nd, 2021?
Yes, sir. I would move to approve the board minutes from March 2nd, 2021.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Those minutes are approved. We now continue with a presentation from Pretrial Services. We have Marianne Clear, our Pretrial Services Director, and she is here to introduce some new Pretrial Services staff. So I'm going to turn directly to Marianne.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to the board. I wanted to thank the board for the opportunity to introduce my new staff and the opportunity to expand our programs to serve those in our community. The first staff member I want to introduce is Nicole Carbone. She's actually worked for me for almost 2 years. The reason she's here today to be introduced is because of her promotion to a Pretrial Services Diversion Officer 2. She's helped build our diversion program and look at expanding to serve those in district court and working with the prosecuting attorney's office to find ways to find early intervention and focus on evidence-based practices. She has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from the School of Social Work and Criminal Justice, and she's been an invaluable asset to our Pretrial Services Department and the county in general. Nicole, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the county to have Chris Mueller, who just started with us on the 1st of February as a Pretrial Services Diversion Officer 2. He has a bachelor's in criminal justice and a master's in history. He has about 13 years of experience working on both the West Coast and the East Coast. He's originally from New York, and we have him here from the Department of Corrections most immediately. He's not been here at the county very long since he just started here about a month ago, but he's already proved himself to be a great asset to our team. He's a great team player, especially adapting to training in the environment of virtual world. Chris, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. I want to take a moment to introduce Lashonda Harvey. Lashonda Harvey comes to us with a bachelor's in criminal justice and a master's in psychology. She brings her experience as most recently a therapist, child and family therapist, and a history of a business owner and working in victim advocacy. She just started on February 22nd, but she's already proved to be a quick learner and has been taking in a lot of information in a very short period of time. And we're grateful to have her here as part of our team. Lashonda, are you here? I think I saw you earlier.
I am, thank you.
And last but not least today, I want to take a moment to introduce Matthew Herrera. He has a bachelor's in criminal justice and brings with him his experience in juvenile rehabilitation. He's been working for the county already in Superior Court, and I'm glad to welcome him to the pretrial services team. He just started with us last week and has already been taking in a lot of information here with pretrial services as well. In just a short period of time, he's only been here just a week with pretrial. Matthew, I think I saw you on the screen as well.
Yep. Hi.
There you are. Okay. Great. Commissioner Mejia, anything for these folks?
No, just welcome. I know a couple of you, and I can't wait to meet the ones of you that I haven't met personally yet.
Mr. Edwards?
I would just say welcome and try to keep our community as safe as you can when you make your selections. Thank you.
Very good. I'm very excited to meet all of you. Marianne kind of touched on, but the board funded positions for both an expansion of the pretrial services work into district court, as well as a new component of the pre-charge diversion program to try to get people connected to what they need to move on to a better path prior to even reaching the justice system, in our courts and our judges and our prosecutors. So very excited about these expansions, and welcome to the team. We're really excited for you to succeed. Let us know what you need. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I do want to report that even though our staff are new and just starting, we were able to expand to district court on a very small basis with just some cases for the domestic violence cases, and just started that rollout a couple weeks ago. It's going well so far.
I'm very happy how quickly you've been able to get these folks on board and get your programming going, Marianne. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And I know we have a lot of folks here with us today. And I'm going to turn it over to the county manager to walk through it, but just can you give some preliminary comments, kind of the ground rules for public comment that we do at every meeting. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes public comment at every one of our board meetings on Tuesday afternoons. There are guidelines to ensure that comments are appropriate, and essentially when you're called on, introduce yourself, including the area of the county in which you reside. Please address the board, not audience or staff. You'll have 4 minutes. We've just expanded to a 4-minute public comment period. And this is the inaugural day of that, so you'll get a good workout, looks like. And you'll be asked to silence your cell phones. You'll get 4 minutes. You will not be able to donate that time to any other speaker. The board reserves the right to restrict the opportunity to comment for good cause. No comments that are lewd or offensive, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind, comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business, or any remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that might come before the board on appeal. Finally, advisement that all materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request, pursuant to the Public Records Act, RCW 4256. And with that, I'm going to have the county manager kind of walk through the process for this kind of special public comment here today.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon to all of you. Maybe the first step will be to go through the individuals who have signed They will be providing an in-person testimony. Then I will move into the Zoom meeting. And I know that most of you join us at the Zoom meeting are here for a particular item. So I will give you the floor if you'd like to testify. If you don't, I appreciate your support just by showing up. So first we're gonna go to the floor, then I will go on the Zoom and I will call based on the order that I see on the screen here at the boardroom. So there's a lot of testimony, a lot of time, so please be patient, we'll get to you.
Okay, and I would just say that, typically when we have all the names lined out, we give 2 names. So you kind of know who's on deck. That may not be possible today with this particular process. So just be paying attention to your name. I only have 1 person signed up on the sheet in the boardroom, John Pettit. We'll start with John.
Good afternoon, commissioners. And this is a festive day, a 4-minute time frame. I want to compliment all of you for working hard in order to decide to expand the time. It helps out a lot. Most people aren't prepared for trying to explain their whole world in 3 minutes. So as an ongoing issue that I've already been conveying to the commissioners, I want to point out that I am going to be talking some about the land use. Today I sent you this morning a little sheet similar to this, 6 pages of it, and it shows what I have projected out as being the correct level of land use fees. Now, I know we have a lot of smart people right here at the county. I think our county manager is an engineer. I think our county budget and finance manager is a CPA. I think that we have these people are quite capable of doing analysis, so we don't always have to go outside the box and find means to have another study done in order to make determinations of simple crunching of numbers. That's what I get hired by for a lot of the people that hire me to do analysis work. The land use fee schedule, I think you'll find that typically if you make the reductions to the correct amount for the hourly rate, all of the services virtually are itemized by hourly amounts of time by different departments. And when I calculated it, as you probably saw in my one attached letter, was I took the total cost, included the lights, the building, cars, whatever it may take. I took the total budget of a department, divided it by the number of employees that are within that budget in order to determine, and then I added 20% because employees need managers. So we add the 20% on. Hopefully we don't have more than 1 manager per 5 employees, but I can't say that. So hopefully you'll consider this. And in considering it, I'm going to give you an example. It's a little bit of a strange example, but let's say that you suddenly were handed this baby that you're going to take care of for a couple hours. Well, the parents are gone, and this baby, all of us, it's kind of like the county commissioners. You suddenly have a whole county to deal with. Now, this baby suddenly poops its diaper. Do you decide you're going to wait for a couple hours and give it to the parents to take care of it, or do you need to take care of it yourself? Once you know there's a problem, it becomes your problem. Welcome to the world of being an elected official, okay? It's no longer a problem that we can push off and say, well, let's wait another year. I want to see us grow as a county. I want to see us have affordable housing. Okay, does it matter to me personally? Only because I care about people. I don't have to worry about affordable housing. I already have mine. But how about all the people out there? We talk about races and we talk about different things. The ability to level the ground so everybody can afford things starts with making things affordable. And the way you make it affordable is you make your fees in proper line with what they should be, and it'll lower the cost of housing. So that being said, I'm going to give you one more little thought here, which is an important thing. You have set a new record this last month. The highest amount of sales tax Thurston County ever received in a single month since the start of the records. So congratulations and thank you for the 4 minutes.
Thank you, sir. So now I'm going to the Zoom, and I'm going to call your name. So please unmute yourself, introduce state your name, where you reside in the county. You have 4 minutes. You don't need to take the 4 minutes, but you have 4 minutes. So let me begin by calling Dr. Thelma Jackson. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening to members of the commission. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Dr. Thelma Jackson, and I have lived in the Lacey area for 50 years and witnessed a lot of change in that period of time. And I am speaking specifically today to one of your agenda items that's later on the agenda for action. And I'm speaking in support of the resolution to declare racism a crisis in Thurston County. I applaud the leadership of the county manager to introduce this resolution and the county commission's willingness to approve it. Systemic racism is alive and well in this county, as evidenced by such things as racial profiling that continues to happen. And we still have racially restricted covenants on more than 377 parcels of property in this county. The elements of this resolution bring a focus to the impacts of racism on Black, Indigenous, and other people of color who make up 25% of the county's population. Black lives and lives of all others do matter. This resolution puts into place a racial equity action plan that will coincide with the new State Office of Equity, the City of Olympia's Office of Equity and Inclusion, and the City of Lacey's Commission on Equity. I urge unanimous passage of this resolution so that the elements contained in sections 1 through 8 can be implemented, including securing adequate resources and funding. This nation is at a crossroads in its race relations today. Don't let the conversations and dialogue become just another fleeting moment that does not result in systemic changes. I see the jacked up pickup trucks with the large Confederate and Trump flags flying around the area as they cruise around town, which are very intimidating in fashion. Let's not be in denial that a problem exists. COVID-19 has not been the only pandemic to hit this nation. The racism pandemic has been here the whole time, and that applies to Thurston County as well. Let us make Thurston County a wholesome, equitable place for all citizens to live, work, and be educated, and enjoy life free of racism and the threats to our well-being. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Next on the screen, I have Ms. Fran Berg. I'd like to provide testimony this afternoon. Hearing none, let's move on. Next, I have Mr. Derek Harris. I'd like to provide testimony this afternoon.
Sure would. Hi, so my name is Derek Harris. I live in Tumwater, and I work for Community Services as the CEO in our office spaces in Olympia, Washington. I'm also here today to support the county declaring racism as a crisis. We believe it could elevate a collective response of anti-racism work in our community, as well as create accountability for all of us to help keep this work on the forefront, as we know it disproportionately impacts the health and well-being of our Black, Indigenous, and people of color members of our community. I state this on behalf of myself personally. I state this on behalf of my role as the CEO of Community Youth Services, and I know our entire organization supports this as well. So we urge you in passing this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Patrick O'Connor. I'd like to provide testimony this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to lend my support. Patrick O'Connor, I'm the Director of Thurston County Public Defense. Our office and our department supports this resolution, and I urge the board to pass it. It's long overdue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, I have Councilmember Cox. We'd like to provide testimony this afternoon.
Hello, I'm mainly here to just listen, but I would add my encouragement to approve this declaration of a crisis on racism. And I would also extend a hand from Lacey in doing work together on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Dogma.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Doug Ma. I live in Southeast Olympia in the urban growth area. I'm here today to express support for the resolution declaring racism a crisis in Thurston County. It is a meaningful and initial step for our communities, and I appreciate the leadership that the county is taking to create a community that is free of racism. I look forward to working with you in the future as we move toward a more perfect community here in Thurston County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I have our county clerk, Linda Enlow. Would like to provide testimony?
I'm here to listen, but would add that I also support this resolution. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Next, I have Marianne Clear. You'd like to provide testimony? Next, I have Ms. Nicole Carbone. I think, okay. Next, I have Your Honor, Melo. We'd like to provide testimony this afternoon.
Not to provide testimony, just want to thank the board for considering this resolution, and I'm very encouraged by the support of the community, as well as I can report that I've just had a wonderful onboarding experience since my election to the bench. Thank you very much for all of this hard work.
Thank you. Next, I have our county treasurer, Mr. Jeff Godman.
Good afternoon. I just want to say next month is my 53rd anniversary of living in Thurston County. I've seen a lot of change. A lot more diversity has entered our community. I really applaud the commission for taking this on this resolution, and I urge you to vote in favor of this. We need to take much bigger steps in getting to an equitable place in this country, and like a little bit of paraphrasing of Doug Ma, to get us to a more perfect union. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Josh Cummings.
Thank you. Yes, Joshua Cummings. I'm the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development, otherwise known as CPED. And I am here also to support the leadership of the Board of County Commissioners on the resolution to declare racism a crisis in Thurston County. CPED pledges to accept this direction and continue the action that we've already begun in moving our community forward in the land use portion of what we can do to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Warren Carlson.
Yes. I'm Warren Carlson. I live in downtown Olympia. I'm part of our Rotary Club's Social Justice Task Force, and we're all in support of this issue, and it's past due. I think the collective impact of all of us working together to deal with what is long overdue it's terrific that you're taking this up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I have our county assessor, Mr. Stephen Drew.
Good afternoon. I don't have many comments except to express my gratitude and support for this measure, and to pledge to be an eager participant as one of the employers here at Thurston County for working on hiring policies and practices so that we can lead as a major employer in our county and bring real change here at the county. Much needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Megan Durrell from Together. Megan.
Great, thanks. My name is Megan Barrow. I'm the Executive Director of Together, and I'm joined by Megan Sullivan, Deputy Director at Together. I live in Olympia and operate Together services across our county. I'm here also to thank the county commissioners for reviewing the racial justice policy action letter sent by a group of nonprofits that Together is proud to be a part of. Megan and I urge you to support the action to declare racism as a crisis in our county. Are taking it up. I support this personally as a member of this community, as the executive director of Together and part of the collective of nonprofits who are dedicated to this work. I believe it is important to be engaged in this conversation because we are service providers, ultimately responding to the inequities that have come from systemic oppression. I hope that this declaration isn't the end of the actions taken towards an anti-racist future in Thurston County. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have our county auditor, Ms. Mary Hall.
Thank you. I'd like to comment, Dr. Thelma Jackson was correct. We have 377 unlawful racially restrictive covenants in Thurston County. My staff has identified all of those. We will be rolling out a program to provide a really easy way for them to file modified covenants so we can break that chain of title. We really don't want these to pass on from homeowner to homeowner. So I look forward to launching this program. And I also want to thank the board for your leadership in making this declaration in Thurston County. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Shelley Slaughter. You'd like to provide testimony, Shelley.
Thank you so much. Shelley Slaughter, Director of Thurston County Public Health and Social Services. And I want to say thank you so much to the board for considering this very important resolution today. I strongly support it. And also I will reserve further comments for this afternoon's Board of Health session in which the Board of Health will consider proclaiming racism also as a public health emergency here in Thurston County. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Marianne O'Gara. Marianne.
Hello, I'm Marianne O'Gara. I'm the Senior Epidemiologist at Public Health and Social Services. I am also a resident of the city of Lacey, and I am so grateful to see all of you here today to support this, and so grateful to the Board of County Commissioners for considering this resolution. As someone who looks at the data for our residents in Thurston County, at the health equity issues in Thurston County and the disparities, I wholeheartedly, in terms of looking at how to advance the health of our community and address the disparities that I see by race and ethnicity in our county, believe that this effort by all of us to address the different actions and opportunities that a resolution such as this can collectively provide can close some of the gaps that we see, and the action that together we can do in terms of the identifying the urgency, which I hope in particular this approach, the urgency with which we need to accelerate and address this issue together comes across to the community, and the intentional approach that we need to take comes across, and that's what I'd like to convey today, just the seriousness with which we are taking this. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Jessie Knudsen. I'd like to provide testimony this afternoon.
No, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. David Schaeffer. David?
Well, good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you. I'm David Schaeffer, President and CEO of the Thurston County Chamber, and it's nice to be here. And it's nice to see so many other fellow Thurston County residents here today supporting the county's resolution declaring racism as a crisis. From the Thurston County Chamber, we're very supportive of your continued efforts. We're supportive of this resolution, and we're supportive of making sure that individuals in our community are treated with the utmost equity and fairness, and that we are building a better place for everyone to live. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Christy Peters.
Good afternoon. My name is Christy Peters. I'm a resident of the city of Olympia and also the Chief of Staff for the Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. We are very much in support on behalf of our office and also as an individual of the county passing this resolution. It's a pleasure to see this happening, and it's exciting to see that we're working together.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Drew Phillips.
Hi, Drew Phillips, a resident of Olympia. And when I read this resolution, it really made me proud to be part of this county. Definitely echo the comments that have been made forward, and am in full support. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Keeley Marino. Keeley.
Good afternoon, Keeley Marino. I'm the Thurston County Homeless Prevention and Affordable Housing Coordinator. I also live here in Olympia, and I live in the Northeast neighborhood. And I am so pleased that we are all here today for this purpose, that we are beginning the very first step in addressing racism in our county and moving towards racial justice and racial equity. I know that as myself being in a position of power, meaning I'm a leader, I have a leadership role here in Thurston County. And as a white person, I am 100% committed to accountability, to transparency, and to addressing racism both personally and also within the homeless crisis response system. So I just really want to shout out to my community members that are here in support, and I'm so grateful that this is happening.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Curt Hardin. Curt.
Good afternoon, Curt Hardin, Director of Emergency Services here in Thurston County, and also a longtime resident of Thurston County. I would like to add my voice in support of the resolution to declare racism a crisis in Thurston County. I think this is an important step in the process, and I want to thank the Board of County Commissioners for considering this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Maria Ponte.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maria Ponte. I'm the Thurston County HR Director, and I'm really proud to be here today to witness this, and I commend the commissioners for taking this action, and I am pledging and committing to working with all of the leaders here today, and it shows how important this topic is to ensure that we create a diverse, inclusive, and respectful workplace for all our employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Megan Sullivan.
Hi, this is Megan Sullivan. Megan Darrow spoke on behalf of Together. I'm the Deputy Director at Together, one of the signers of the racial justice letter that is included in the meeting packet. And like Shelley Slaughter, I will speak at the Board of Health, but just wanted to say thank you and wanted to note a couple things that I really do hope that this comes with a long-term plan. And I'm excited to see what that plan looks like and be a part of establishing accountability to communities of color to make sure that this really adds the most value possible to advance equity. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Meg Martin.
Hello, my name is Meg Martin. I am a resident of unincorporated Thurston County in the Olympia area and also the Executive Director of Interfaith Works. We signed on to the letter that's included in the packet as well, and just here to really say thank you for consideration of this resolution, reiterating that we are really looking for broad-based collaboration on these very important issues brought forth by trusted leaders in our community. Working in homeless services, we see the disparities and racial injustice every single day within the walls of our shelter and on the streets, and just couldn't be happier that this very important step is being taken and are here for the long haul on this work. So thanks again, and really great to see everyone here today.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Ursula Ehler.
Good
Good afternoon. I'm here to represent myself as a private citizen. I live in the southwestern part of Thurston County and have lived in Thurston County since 1994. I'm here to speak briefly on a different matter than you all are speaking to, although I'm very proud of Thurston County and of the Board of Commissioners to bring this forth. Certainly there should be enough room for everyone to thrive and to be treated equally and have equal opportunities. But I'm here today to mostly listen. I came to the Board of Commissioners last week to speak on the possibility of a continuing conversation and exchange of information on the possibility of placing a mega airport into Thurston County and to stay abreast of those developments. And this afternoon, I'm just here to continue to listen to that and perhaps continue the conversation over the coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Malika Lamont.
Thank you. I didn't sign up to make a comment, but my name is Malika Lamont, and I'm the chair of the Thurston Asset Building Coalition. And we have an equity platform as well as an advocacy platform, and we signed on to the racial justice letter that is part of the packet. And we really hope that moving forward, Thurston County will come with an inclusive plan that will uplift the voices of impacted people to create a response that is relevant and real and felt throughout our community. Thank you for considering this motion.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Elisa Sparkman.
I do not wish to make a testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ms. Amanda Ford. Ms. Amanda Ford. Okay. Next, I have Mr. Zachary Garcia. Next, I have Ms. Chris Brown.
Oh, I didn't sign up for comment. I was just observing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, I have Ms. Michelle Gibson. Next, I have Ms. Fermina Ariza.
No comment.
Okay. Is there anybody that I missed who would like to provide public testimony? I know that I skipped some county staff, including Robin Campbell, but Robin is the regular attendee on this meeting. So if you'd like to provide testimony, please unmute yourself. None? Okay, thank you. So let me check the conference call.
So while you check the conference call, Romero, I will just say how proud I am to be a member of Thurston County today, how much I appreciate that the board is taking this first step in ensuring equity for everyone in Thurston County, and how I look forward to working with everyone on moving this forward. This is only the first step. We have so much more to do, and I look forward to that work.
Thank you. For those who have joined us via conference call this afternoon, if you would like to provide public testimony, please unmute yourself, state your name, where you reside in the county. You have 4 minutes. None, sir.
Okay, thank you, Melo, for walking us through that. We're going to move now to item 2 on today's agenda, which is county manager's update.
I don't have a specific update, and I provided a response to the comments from Mr. Pettit related to the permit fees last week, and also I think it's Ms. Ehler is participating on this. She provided testimony related to the regional airport. As far as I know, nothing has changed since the position the board has taken in opposition to this particular airport. So we'll continue to investigate if something changes, and we'll be keeping our eyes wide open. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, Item 3 is a consent agenda. There are 3 items, 3A through 3C. Any requests to pull an item for separate comments from the board?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is there a motion then regarding consent items?
I would move to approve consent items A through C.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve consent items 3A through 3C. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Those items are approved. That brings us to department items. 4A is resolution to declare racism a crisis.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Let me begin with a statement before I go through the items included in your proposed resolution. I'd like to thank everyone who has joined us this afternoon to participate on this particular action. But we began in the nation yesterday with the beginning of a trial for those involved in the murder of George Floyd. Sometimes justice takes time, but it's never too late. Systemic racism is institutional and structural. And racism is a system that structures opportunity and assigns value based on social interpretation on how an individual looks. Throughout history, systemic racism has manifested as discrimination and oppression directed towards communities of color, resulting in trauma and harm to the health and well-being for targets of racism, their families, their communities, and subsequent generations. Systemic racism causes discrimination that impacts all aspects of life, including housing, education, employment, and criminal justice, as racism itself is a social determinant of health. As Dr. Thelma Jackson stated, 25% of Thurston County residents are Black, Indigenous, or people of color. Thurston County residents' life expectancy is 81 years old. However, Thurston County residents who are Native American, the life expectancy is 72 years old. Native Hawaiian Pacific Islanders, the life expectancy is 73 years old. In African Americans, life expectancy is 78 years old. The infant mortality rate in Thurston County among African American babies is 9.9%. Hispanics at 4.8% compared to the county as a whole of 4.4%. The county government has an essential role in changing harmful policies and practices that perpetuate systemic racism. This is the first step as to how we, as a county, as leaders, as you commissioners, as elected officials, we can take the first step of this long journey. But also before we take the first step, we need to be committed to the long road ahead. And it's not about passing this resolution and pretend the problem has been solved. I believe that we as leaders, we have the obligation to set the stage for the future generations to carry on with this banner. Because it's going to take diligence, it's going to take commitment, and it's going to take resources to keep moving forward. That's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you, Mero. Questions or comments from the board?
I have a statement.
Go ahead.
So I am in full support of passing this resolution. I think of the special significance of today being Billy Frank Jr.'s birthday. I am honestly happy for those who have never witnessed or experienced racism in their life or even here in Thurston County. But just because you don't see it or experience it doesn't mean that it's not happening and that it's not affecting our residents. I see this as a step forward, a step in improving and being accountable. I believe there's always room for improvement, and we're headed in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Edwards.
Yes, I'm going to keep it very short. I think that I got a pretty good education from my parents. And basically, they taught me, treat people like you would like to be treated. It was pretty simple, but we can always do better. And I guess that's what we're doing here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. I would say Dr. Jackson and all the other folks spoke eloquently about this. The board has had multiple discussions on this. In fact, the Olympian reported on some of those discussions, and we were all quoted there, so I'm not going to repeat all of that. I would say that in addition to work on the pandemic and climate change, this has been one of the most meaningful pieces of work that I've had as a commissioner over the last year. We've had good discussions amongst the board and a lot of community input to getting us where we are now. You know, it's been stated, you know, what is the true nature of the issue today in Thurston County, you know, and we've had so many pieces of evidence of the nature of the issue throughout our nation, locally, whether it's things going on downtown, whether it's things going on in the nation's capital. I mean, you have to look no further than January 6th, where we had folks chanting racist slogans and wearing Holocaust-denying T-shirts, etc., storming the Capitol. The President of the United States going on television and saying that he loved those people and they were very special. The world was watching us that day. And I was, as an American, I was humiliated. I was disgusted. I was embarrassed. But it put into very sharp focus, as if we needed it to, but it put in very sharp focus the necessity of actions like what we're doing here today for me. Several of the commenters, including our county manager and assistant county manager, talked about how, you know, the key, and I've tried to beat this drum throughout the year as we've discussed how to go about putting this resolution together. It has to be about follow-up and action. And I commit to the people here today and the entire community, this will not be the end of the actions of Thurston County on this topic. There will be follow-through, there will be community engagement, there will be resources dedicated, there will be education and training and you know, follow-up of various sorts. Details are still being discussed and will be you know, made concrete, but that is my commitment to my community. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. It feels good to do something like this and feel the support and the interest of the community. So it makes a big difference to us as the folks that are able to put this into black and white. So that's my comments on the matter. And with that, is there a motion?
Yes, Chair. I would move to approve the resolution declaring racism a crisis in Thurston County.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further comment or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries and the resolution has been adopted. Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda for today is 4B, intergovernmental agreement for joint animal services operations.
Thank you, Commissioners, for your consideration is to approve a new local agreement with Joint Animal Services, which is a coordinated effort between Thurston County, the cities of Lacey, Olympia, Tumwater, and I believe Yale has become part of this services as well. This is a continuation of services that we receive from Animal Services, includes a contribution of, let me get the number, of $4.70 per capita from Thurston County, and the cities contribute just about $5.90 per capita as well. There is many services the Joint Animal Services provides, including shelter services, which include a slew of activities with that, as well as humane law enforcement, which is related to responses. The board has discussed this item for the last 2 weeks. You had the opportunity to have the executive director of the Joint Animal Services this morning, as well as the undersheriff from Thurston County. And as a result of that conversation, this particular item is before you for final consideration.
Okay, any questions, Commissioner Mejia, regarding the intergovernmental agreement for Jazzcom?
No questions for me, sir.
Commissioner Edwards?
Not at this point.
Okay, I do not either. Is there a motion?
For the purposes of discussion, I would move to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Thurston County and the cities of Lacey, Olympia, and Tumwater for joint animal services operations, and authorize the county manager to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion?
Pardon?
Is there further discussion on this?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Commissioner Edwards.
I am very concerned that we're spending close to $700,000 on this project, and we end up getting basically no service in the outlying areas of the county. So I really feel it would cost about another $300,000 to get any kind of services in the outlying area. And for $1 million, I'm not sure we're getting much. We're getting kind of a halfway deal here, which is no service to the unincorporated area of the county. We end up with a animal shelter and a dog pound, but very little service beyond that. And that service costs right around $700,000. And so I would rather see us spend the additional $300,000 and get real service and make some kind of a budget adjustment to do this, or cancel the service completely, because I don't see that we're getting a benefit from it. So the expenditure doesn't seem to be producing what I thought it could produce. And I've talked to a lot of law enforcement officers out there, and there's not a very good relationship between animal control and the law enforcement community. And I'm just not sure it's a good expenditure. So that'll be my comment, sir.
I would respond to that by saying that we had a presentation this morning, and if folks are concerned about what Commissioner Edwards is talking about, they should look at the video from this morning. In terms of what is being paid for by the county, there are 36, what was outlined by the Jazzcom executive director is that there are 37 kinds of calls that come into the animal services. 29 of those, the county does get response. The unincorporated county does get response from Jazzcom. There are 8 types of calls that we do not. And it would cost $330,000 to add those 8 kinds of calls. We get every other kind of service, and there's a list of 3 or 4 pages worth of shelter, adoption, care programs, sprays, the ability to deal with animal control in the traditional sense, 100% to the county. And again, on the field calls, we're getting 29 out of the 37 types. We're not getting animal aggression and barking nuisance calls. And that would cost, so I kind of came out of this morning's presentation with the opposite reaction from Commissioner Edwards. I was pleasantly surprised at what we're getting for what we're paying for, in terms of what the cities are getting, what the county's getting versus the cities. And that price tag, which was 100 and something thousand in 2019, went up to 212,000 last year. And now that the Jazzcom's been subsidizing its budget with reserves, and they're kind of phasing that out, which means it's going to cost $330,000 to add those 8 other types of service calls. So I'm a little concerned about that. And we had the undersheriff who, upon questioning, didn't seem to think there was an alternative that would provide the kind of service in any alternative way. There had been previous discussions about Yelm, but Yelm has decided to join Jazzcom. So that's taken away maybe an alternative arrangement that we might consider. So that's kind of my response to that. Commissioner McPhee, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I kind of came with the same idea. I spoke with Sheriff Snaza on Friday because I wanted to hear his input on this, since it does affect his staff when there's this gap in service. And he was in full support of it, but his concern was he just wanted that covered, that gap covered. And so that was his only concern, just because of the extra burden it does add on his staff. But with the presentation that we had today, and with Under Sheriff Brady here, you know, it seems that, you know, what Thurston County residents are paying is less than what the residents at the City of Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater are paying. And you know, from what's not covered, I thought it was going to be bigger services, but it's, you know, just eight priorities, and they're both in priority 2 and 3. And I do recommend that if you didn't see the presentation this morning, it's very good, and it walks through the whole process. So that's, I mean, that was the take I got from it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner Edwards, go ahead.
I would just like to see, as we move forward on this particular issue, that we end up trying to come up with a solution that works for everybody, for the taxpayers as a whole, and for animal control, the other jurisdictions, and the citizens of Thurston County. So hopefully I've spurred that conversation to develop a solution farther down the road. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll call for the vote now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. That brings us to item 5, emergency services, Homeland Security, Region 3 Incident Management Team trailer purchase.
Thank you, Commissioner. This item is related for you to consider authorizing the purchase of a second trailer for the Homeland Security Region 3. Curt Hardin, the Director of Emergency Services, is here, and he will walk you through the details of this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Curt Hardin, Director of Emergency Services. I'm here to request the authorization to purchase a planning trailer for Homeland Security Region 3 Incident Management Team. This trailer in the amount of $76,967.85. Homeland Security Region 3 Incident Management Team currently has a plans trailer. It serves as a rolling office and command and control platform for the incident management team, which supports the other counties in Homeland Security Region 3, which are Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, as well as Thurston County. For the last several years, the trailer has been contracted to the Department of Natural Resources during the summer months and serves as a primary source of revenue used to support the Homeland Security Region 3 Incident Management Team operations and training. The purchase and equipment of a second trailer was identified as a priority by the IMT Board of Directors over the last several years. And last year, the purchase was delayed due to other priorities and a lack of anticipated revenue. The purchase of this trailer allows for the current plans trailer to be relocated to Grays Harbor County, which further enhances response capability to the western portions of Homeland Security Region 3. So I request that you authorize the purchase of this trailer, which is $76,967.85, and it's in the 2021 approved budget. Subject to your questions, I request the approval of this purchase.
Questions for Curt from the board?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Me either. Thank you, Curt. Is there a motion?
Yes, I would move to approve a resolution authorizing the Emergency Services Director to purchase a planning trailer in the amount of $76,967.85, and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Just let the public know that these items that come on the PPM have been vetted by commissioners at usually 2 separate work sessions, 1 work session. Sometimes 1, but almost always 2 at a minimum. So that's why there's very little discussion about this today at this time. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And we'll keep you on board here, Curt, for item 5B, which is our FFY, is that federal fiscal year? I'm guessing. Yeah. FFY 2021 agreement with U.S. Department of Interior for operation and maintenance of river gauges.
Yeah, this particular item is related to for the operations and maintenance of the stream flow gauges that we have on the chutes and the Skookumchuck rivers. They help us to manage the flooding levels of those two rivers. Curt Hardin, the emergency director, is here to walk you through the details of this item.
Yep. Again, Curt Hardin, Director of Emergency Services and Commissioners. This is an annual contract with the Department of Interior for the operation and maintenance of these stream flow, discharge, and precipitation gauges. The cost of this contract is $20,978, which $15,478 comes out of the general fund, and the Community Plan Economic Development, CPED, pays $5,500 out of the Stormwater Fund. These funds are already approved in the 2021 budget. And this is the financial model that the Board of County Commissioners has approved in previous years. The river gauge information is vital for flood forecasting by the National Weather Service for Thurston County and is the basis for emergency management's capability to alert the public on those rivers for flooding. Thurston County's total cost for the period is October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021 of this contract. So I request the approval of this contract in the amount of $20,978.
Questions for Curt on this item?
No questions.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you, Curt. Is there a motion regarding this?
Yes, I'd move to approve the joint funding agreement for water resources investigations with the U.S. Department of Interior, U.S. Geological Survey for $20,978 for the term of October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. And authorize the Emergency Services Director to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Curt. Item 6 is juvenile court probation. The item is sole source professional services contract with Heart Strides Therapeutic Horsemanship.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. This particular item has two elements on your particular, for your consideration is one, to approve a sole source, and the other one embedded in the motion is to approve the professional services with Heart Strides Therapeutic Horsemanship. Ted Bryan is the juvenile detention manager, and he's here to walk you through the details of the item. Ted?
Thank you, Commissioners. Thanks for your time this afternoon. Again, this is in our TST contract. Worked diligently with Carrie Hennon and Brandon Weber to declare Heart Strides as a sole source and get this contract moving to provide therapeutic services to kids that are going through juvenile court, struggling with mental health issues, and provide horsemanship services. It's been proven to be very effective.
Ted, TST is the treatment sales tax?
Yes,
Okay,
excuse me,
you.
yes.
Questions for Ted regarding the sole source professional services contract?
No, sir.
No, sir, we've discussed it.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions. I'm ready to entertain a motion.
I would move to approve the sole source professional services contract with Heart Strides Therapeutic Horsemanship and Juvenile Court in the amount of $53,120 for January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021.
I second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That you, Commissioner Evers?
On reports.
Oh, I just didn't catch your vote. This one.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a great afternoon.
Sometimes there's little sound glitches on my screen here. Okay, item 7A is commissioners reporting on other community events, board work sessions, or any other updates they'd like to provide. Commissioner Mejia, what's up?
From last week, I don't have much to report on. I am halfway through my ITA, my inner city transit orientation, and the second half of that will be scheduled on a later date, I believe, in the coming weeks. So I'm very excited about that. Other than that, I do have most of my assigned committee meetings this week, so I'll probably have a lot to report on next week.
Commissioner Evans.
I think I'll confine my remarks to the communication system meeting that we had and the cell tower completion. It looks like it's coming about, and it sounds like it might be beneficial to our overall communication system in Thurston County. So that'll be nice. The other piece of action was mainly with the COVID, with finding shots or where people could sign up to get shots for their inoculation on that issue. So I'll let it go at that. Thank you.
Okay. I had the opportunity to attend the Rochester Grand Mound Chambers. I typically do good presentations from the Economic Development Council there. Preparing for the Climate Steering Committee, I attended a webinar regarding green building incentives. What types, it was a roundtable of builders primarily who were having discussions about what types of incentives would be most effective for them to implement green building practices and reduce energy consumption in new construction. Attended the county vaccine clinic on Sunday at the Lacey Senior Center and got a chance to speak at length with the director of the Senior Services of the South Sound, who great to see people in person for once. Haven't been too much of that lately. And then just various citizen items coming up this week, meeting with citizens about various topics of concern. So that was essentially my week. And with that, I will turn it to the county manager to review our combined schedule.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for the upcoming week. It's where at least 2 commissioners will be present in those appointments. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. After you finish the Board of County Commissioners this afternoon at 3:30, you have your regular Board of Health meeting. Moving on to Wednesday, March 10th at noon, you have your regular meeting with the appointed directors at noon, followed by a special Board of Health meeting related to on-site sewage management plan. Then on Thursday, March 11th at 10 in the morning, you have your commissioners check-in, and then the agenda will be posted 24 hours in advance. Nothing on your combined schedule on Friday, March 12th. Nothing on your combined schedule on Monday, March 15th. And then Tuesday, March 16th, you will convene here again, 9 in the morning for the agenda setting, where you will be reviewing the agenda for the afternoon meeting, as well as for the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting. Thank you.
Okay. With nothing, anything else for the good of the order before we adjourn?
Be back here at 3:30?
Yes, sir.
We'll be Board of Health at 3:30, 3:08, or 3:09. So we have a short break. Thank you, everybody.